Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich with your Table Talk Thursday. We are going to be drawing from our Table Topics Cube, as per usual. Um, okay, but before we go on, some particulars. If you're part of the 20 to 30% of people who are not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right over here. Um, Hit that bell notification because YouTube sometimes tells you, whenever I post stuff. And let's see. Hit that like button if you like these videos. Hit that dislike button if you dislike these videos. Either way, I don't care. It all appease the algorithmic gods of YouTube. All hail the algorithmic gods of YouTube. Let's see. Oh, also, make sure that you leave a comment if you have comments regarding today's topic. I have no clue what today's topic is. I have not pulled the card yet. Let's see. And yeah, go ahead and also get a hold of me through Twitter. You can send me DMs there. You can also just at me on Twitter. Either way is completely fine. Let's see. You can email me. That's perfectly awesome. I do check them, like daily, every other day. Sometimes like that, Yeah, you know how it is with emails. I'm one of those people that has like 3,000 emails in their unread emails. Yeah, in their inbox. Yeah, I am that person. Um, it'll be a little bit harder for me, or it'll be a little longer for me to actually get back to you, but you can definitely get in touch with me that way. You can always leave a comment here. Da, 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 da. Soon, I'm hoping to have other things set up so you can contact me in other ways. If you would like to support this channel, there is an eBay link if you would like to buy something from my eBay store. Um, I will be posting some stuff here coming up in the next, probably in the next week or so. Um, I have a jam-packed week this week and next week. And then after that, I should be fully part-time and I should be okay. So, always working for the weekend type thing. But experience coffee love. I think this is a Bob Evans shirt. I got this at like Salvation Army. Yeah, I kind of love this shirt just because it says experience coffee love. Yeah, I don't care if it's a Bob Evans shirt. um, let's see what else. Yeah, and I will probably make a special report video whenever the Patreon is up and running, so you can also support me through Patreon. But anyway, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's card, which reads, when you try to forgive, how do you release your anger? When you try to forgive, how do you release your anger? Okay, so by the time I'm uh, at the point to forgiving somebody, like I won't forgive immediately. I am one that I need to take some time. I kind of uh, let's see. There's a country song that I kind of live by on the anger issue. Let's address that first. Um, and it goes, I just want to be mad for a while. I can't remember the exact song and all that. But it's basically this person, they're upset. They're angry and they're just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to forgive you right now. I just want to be mad for a while. And that is a valid feeling to have. We should not be pressuring ourselves or others into immediately forgiving other people if we are angry and justifiably angry. you know, Somebody hurt our feelings and whatnot. Yeah, you know what? I'm, you know, I am not one of those persons that says screw your feelings. No. Feelings are there for you to process, and you should definitely be doing that. If you're not, there, it only compounds the issue. So, feel your feelings, work through that stuff, evaluate why you're feeling the way you do, and what you can do to improve your life from that point forward. So, what this usually looks like for me is, say I get into an argument with somebody, and we're sitting. Usually, it's with politics because I know some horrendously right-leaning people that just believe anything. Okay, so let's say we're in a face-to-face confrontation. Usually, face-to-face is when this happens, and I'm like, how can you just how can you justify this? How can you do this and justify it as something that is conservative values? It's not conservative values. This thing doesn't work the way you think it works, and if it did, it would have worked by now. However, it doesn't, and you're dumb. And they may say something like, "Oh, well, you're just young and you don't know what you're talking about." And I hate that phrase. I hate it whenever somebody says, respect your elders just because they're older. I hate it when somebody says, I'm older, therefore, or implies I'm older, therefore I'm wiser, because that is bullshit. And I called my coworker out on this the other day. She doesn't know I do videos, but I called my coworker out on this the other day. We're going to have a little side tangent. And she's like, well, you're just so young, is what she said to me, or something along those lines. And I said, you know what? I really hate that phrase. Um, and the reason I hate it is because just because I'm younger doesn't mean I'm dumb. It doesn't mean I haven't thought things through or researched things or educated myself on something. It doesn't mean that I am ignorant to any of the facts. It just means that you have lived more rotations around the sun than I have, or revolutions, right? We rotate on our axis, we revolve around the sun. Okay, yeah, you've just gone around the sun more times than I have. That's all age means. I can point out some, 60, 70, 80-year olds that are very stupid whenever it comes to certain situations. They may be brilliant on other situations. I know people who, they know antiques like the back of their hand. Like certain ones, like from the Victorian era or whatnot. Sometimes I think it's because they grew up around those times, but no, that's just an ageist joke, and I shouldn't be making those. But, I mean, they're friends of mine. But they don't know a thing about technology. So if we were talking about technology, they can't say to me, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just so young. No, I know how to work an iPhone. I've had iPhones. I know this shit. Um, so whenever they can't set up their voicemail, who are they coming to? But whenever it comes to politics or social issues or whatnot, they think they have the corner on they have cornered the market on social issues and how to address those. No, so we would get into these big debates, and it infuriates me whenever somebody tries to belittle me by saying, well, you're younger, you don't really know anything, or something to that effect. It's like, no, and I'm going to hold on to that anger for a little while. And I may confront them about it and say, you know what? You were kind of out of line. You really came at me in a way that is unjustified. And I will hold them to it. And I might say something to them like, well, you're just you're out of touch with reality on what's going on in the world. And I might say something like that. You know, I'm not saying that I'm wrong, but I will say, if I say something hurtful, or somebody says something hurtful to me, um, you know, I'm not going to immediately forgive. I'm going to have to work through that in order to get to that point. And usually it's one of those things that kind of just dissolves, and we realize, okay, we were both idiots. We were both extremely volatile with some of our words, and we're just going to, leave it at that. We're going to just neutralize the situation, and we're going to move on with our lives. I don't often come to the point of, I'm sorry, forgive me, I didn't mean to say that, or, it doesn't really usually get to that point with me, because we usually walk away with an understanding of, okay, we were both stupid, we both said some things, and we're going to just move on. But there are times whenever I've called people out on things, and it's like, okay, um, I want to try to reread the top here. When you try to forgive, how do you release your anger? Okay, so most of the time, if somebody is asking for my forgiveness, or whether or not they even try to forgive me, um, I usually tell them up front. I mean, I don't hold much in anymore as far as how people treat me. There are certain people it's like, okay, you're a family member. I have a lot of love for you. Um, but you're going to have to come to me, and we're going to have to discuss what you've said and what you've done before I actually forgive. So, another story time. I had somebody that was a fellow co-op um, vendor before I had the store and all that. And we were out at the flea market, and she comes up, and we're joking around and all this and that, and it got to we're joking with swear words basically. I said a little "f you" to you, and she laughed and everything. And then I turn around, I come back, and they're like, "What did you say to her?" Whenever I go to the co-op after packing up at the flea market and all that, somebody came up to me. They're like, "You really upset her. What did you say?" I said, we were joking around. I don't know what I said, but they said that you swore at her, and that she took it as an offense and everything. I went, okay, let me go address this, because now I'm a little frustrated, because we were sitting there laughing, joking around, and she said the same thing to me, and I'm like, okay. So I went over to her. I said, what's the problem? And she says, well, you speak to me in ways that my children don't even speak to me. I said, okay. She's like, well, you don't respect your elders. I said, excuse me. I said, you are not my elder. She said, well, I'm older than you. I said, no, you you are not my elder. That is different and apart from you just being older than me. I said, in here, we are co-workers. We are a community that comes together to sell antiques, collectibles, what have you. I said, we are co-workers. We both pay rent here. We both try to sell each other's stuff. And sometimes we buy stuff from one another. I said, we are co-workers. You are not my elder. You are not my teacher that I am sitting down and learning things from. You are not my mother. So therefore, this whole respect your elders thing is bullcrap. And we need to get past this, because I'm going to speak to you like a coworker, or if you would rather, I will not speak to you at all, if that's what you would rather have. I hope it doesn't come to that, but just keep in mind, I am not your child. I am a coworker of yours, and you need to treat me as such, not as if I'm somebody that you have to baby, or that you get offended by whenever we're sitting there joking as coworkers. So, I mean, maybe I was a little out of line, but no, we were coworkers working in tandem to get things done so everybody makes money, everybody's happy, and customers leave with antiques and collectibles and whatnot that they enjoy. Um, so she was taken aback by that, and then I've said this to a couple of people. It's like, you're not my elder, you're my coworker, you're my colleague. And it kind of catches them off, off kilter and whatnot, and they don't realize it until they really think about it. Yeah, hey, he's not my son. And it's hard, I think, for some people to see that, that somebody is actually a grown-up and needs to be treated as such. And the way that I release that anger, which gets back to the actual question, when you try to forgive, how do you release your anger? I usually talk it out. I do a lot of self-reflection in the car. And this video is getting really long, and I'm sorry about that, but this is more of a rant type table talk than anything. Um, I talk to myself in the car a lot. Like, I will listen to podcasts and have videos playing in the background and whatnot. over the speakers as I'm driving, and that's fine. But if something really boils my blood, I will push pause on that, and I will set up an entire scenario of how to talk to somebody, or how to, like, what's going on, how do I address this. Basically it's like making a journal entry, except I'm verbalizing it to myself, and I'm doing a lot of reflection. And what I also do is I ask myself the hard questions. Was I out of line? Um, could I have done better? And can I see this from their point of view? That type of thing. And I mean, it's a way of healing for me. And one thing that I want to note, and a little thing that I've done for years, and I actually got from a certain organization that I, ever since coming out of the evangelical world, I cannot fucking stand, focus on the family. If you're not familiar with them, get familiar with them, because they're going to be doing a lot of horrible shit with this, trying to overturn Roe v. Wade type stuff. Maybe we'll talk about the whole abortion thing in a completely different video, but and my thoughts and views on that. But uh, it was something that they taught that I've actually implemented in my life, and it actually works well, and it's a very secular type of way of handling your day-to-day job. And what you do is you pick a place where you leave all of your feelings about work. And you don't bring it into the household with you. Don't bring the hardships of the day to the house with you. At some point, you need to let go of that. And you can ruminate over it, whenever go back to that spot and pick those feelings back up on your way to work. You can ruminate over those feelings again on your way in. But there needs to be a point where you let your feelings drop off. And I've done that, like, let's see, whenever I worked on the base over here in Jersey, I would choose the front gates. A lot of times I choose the front gates because, you have gates to a military installation. And as I cross those front gates, that's where I leave everything. Everything with work stops there. Now, if it's something that has me so angry, I'll use the rest of the car ride home to talk about it. But if it lasts any longer than turning onto my road, whenever I'm coming home, if it lasts any longer than that, they need to stop. And the conversation needs to end, and I need to focus on home. And that's something that I found that works well for me. And I give that as a thing to you. And usually whenever I get home, I'll sleep on it. I'll come in the next day and it'll be perfectly fine. And so, yeah, to answer the question outright, when you try to forgive, how do you release your anger? Is I talk about it usually with myself. Sometimes, and depending on the situation, if somebody has hurt me verbally or physically, it's, for one, if they hurt me physically, there's going to be other issues. But if they hurt me verbally, if it's appropriate, depending on what it was, and so they know where I'm coming from on something like the scenarios that I gave, we're going to talk about it. And it might not be a pleasant discussion, but we're going to talk about it. And that will release my anger. I try not to hold on to anger very long. And whenever I do, it's usually for a justified reason, because, well, I ain't got time to be angry. I got a business to run. I got a job to do. And, I got, videos to make. There are things that are, that need to take priority over being angry and having this emotion of anger towards an individual. So anyway, that's all that I have for this week. A little bit longer of a table talk video, but I had examples and I needed to share them, stuff I need to get off my chest. And maybe in the future, instead of just verbalizing the argument to myself, maybe I'll make a video of it so you guys can participate in the anger-filled rants of this madman. Anyway, until next time, link as per usual for the Table Topics Cube if you'd like to get your own in the description box below. Remember to, click all the links down there, all that good stuff. Until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye bye.